Hello, everybody. How are we doing this evening? To wa gaga waga 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 wa. Will, I did go offline. Stephen, I didn't know that I was muted that whole time. But how's everybody doing? Uh, After the craziness that was last night's stream. Uh, you might have noticed I put out two videos today. One was just a short clip from the stream, and then I included that clip in the start of the longer form video. And yeah, it has been a wild day watching the Tau subreddit and Tau Facebook page and the other Tau Facebook page, and just oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So anyway, hello again, Odysseus. How you doing, buddy? I wanna say my big worships to the God Emperor Cavill for watching over us and bringing us the Black Templars today, so that we can go out and purge the heretic in totally not being a bigot way. We like Black Templars because we like Black Templars. It's been a love of putting up more decorations around the house and getting ready to put up some portraits. Kit and I got painted a while back. Nice. The Tau Facebook is somehow a mix of the worst skill-wise players I've ever seen and the grumpiest nerds that self-admittedly don't even play the game. That's 100%. There are actually, go and have a look at the comments on just the little clip that I put up from the stream. And there was somebody that was like, I completely disagree with everything you've said. You're overestimating this, blah, blah, blah. And, you need to spend 3 CP to get a combo off and whatever. And Rampages could already get a CP, an extra AP, and nobody thought they were good, and blah, blah, blah. And a part of me, really wanted to have my response be, okay, well, show me your ITC rank. You can disagree with me all you want, but I want to know that somebody that has this strong an opinion on the internet to one of the best Tau players in the world, please show me why you are qualified to make such a strong and abrasive statement. So Grundy had an adverse reaction on his stream. He really wanted a Borkan detachment. And then he put out a video saying, actually, I've thought about it, and actually it's really good. And there's a bunch of cheeky shit that I can get away with. It just... Show me on the doll where the bad man's words hurt you. No, they didn't hurt me. I watch it, and I'm just like, how can people that they form such strong opinions when you know that they haven't played a game, they haven't tested any of it, and they have nothing to base an opinion on. And they're likely not even playing in tournaments. They're probably like beer and pretzels 40k gamers that play against the same 2 or 3 friends every single time. And they need the world to know that they're right. And I actually said in my in the YouTube video, right at the start of it, that it's a mix of, and I think these two are a big one. People who razzed themselves up because they wanted a particular detachment, got themselves all excited and pent up, and then they didn't get it, and now they're really upset about not getting a detachment that GW didn't promise them. Or the second one is they look at the detachment, they're like, I don't understand this, and there's no way I'd ever be able to play this, so I'm going to make everyone else agree that it's really bad so that I don't have to accept that I'm bad and I wouldn't be able to play it. Everybody else, you've got to agree that this is terrible. And if anybody says anything different, then I will attack you because I'm not shit, you're shit. And it's just kind of yeah. Like if literally the top ranked player in the world that also happens to be a Tau player says it's good, and they don't play tournaments a lot of the time. Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. It's step back from being an admin for shovel posting. Yeah, interesting. I don't know how somebody can see this detachment unless they hate auxiliaries so much that they see it in the title, don't read anything else, and they're just like, oh, I have to spend CP for stuff? As like, bruh. Have you ever had somebody stand out in the open and let a couple of tower units shoot at it? Have you ever seen the sheer amount of fucking damage that you could do to somebody? Like, bruh. I really should do the stream where I play a game against somebody and don't take a detachment rule and just play Tau off their own back, off their own rules. Like just data sheet abilities, core stratagems, that sort of stuff. Like, and like, you know, the thing is, if I'm going against somebody at my own skill level, I probably won't win, but the game will still be close. The game will still absolutely be close. You could beat me up. Oh, that'd be great. Like 90% of the drama was rando neckbeards that don't even play the game and don't even properly engage in the lore. It's just memes and arch video. Like, it really is. It's a lot of the time the loudest people about something, especially when it comes to negativity, are people that it actually doesn't really affect all that much. Like, if it's a real problem, then you'll have everybody kind of be like, oh, you know what? I don't really like this. I don't whatever. Zigik, thank you for the follow. But like, you know, every time you have these people that come out and they're not engaging in a dialogue with a thought to learn or offer ideas to improve or anything else, it's like literally just attacking shit. And I can't tell you the number of people, like, it's not like people don't know who I am on that Facebook group. And I had a bunch of like laugh reacts on me saying that it was good detachment. And then people just commenting, you're wrong. It's not good. Like, whatever. Just, they don't want to actually talk to you. They just want to shut you down. And like I said, it's because they're shit. They know they could never play it at even a good level. And they need the detachment to be bad. Because then they don't have to acknowledge that they might be bad. It's, yeah. Cheers, man. Love the content. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. You expected anything but ass hats on Facebook? I mean, I thought it was just full of old racist guys, but it turns out that's not it. Like, I'm going to have to let my family know. Come on, man. Why are you even on Facebook? Social media in general is toxic as fuck. I think there are parts of it that can be good, but it's just, it is like very notable that social media creates something where like the normal social constraints that are in place, where people can't just like act any way they want and say whatever they want, are completely removed because you're on the other side of the internet from somebody. Like, they can do literally whatever they want. It doesn't really, like, nothing will ever come back on them in any sort of way. So it does encourage the worst behavior because there's none of the mechanisms that we evolved with as social beings to keep people in check and actually have them engage in good faith. And there are some people that do it because, you know, moral development has stages. It's not just a binary one or the other. And some people do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Some people do the right thing even if there's no immediate consequences because they know that there is a likely chance that there are going to be greater consequences down the road. But it just like, look at any form of like, you know, online gaming or social media or anything like that. As soon as somebody, like the number of people that are more than happy to like lash out at me and be super toxic when they're not within my arm's reach is startling because you know that if they were standing in front of me, they wouldn't fucking dare try and pull that shit. But yeah. Beal, thank you for the gifted sub, bud. I really appreciate it. Zegik, enjoy the Railgun emote and the Nat 20 and the Nat 1. And Bill, thank you so much for gifting him a sub. Now today for our Black Templars, and you know what? We're going to work out what we are going to get for the day after as well. So we've had Blangles, Sororitas, Demons, Votan, GSC. What is actually left? Like, I'm going to go through the list on the app because that's probably the easiest way for me to do it. I know somebody's probably got it in their like in a list, but all right. So we got Wheaties, we got Space Wolves, we've got Emperor's Children, which is actually in the app as its own thing. Like, it's index Emperor's Children. So I wonder if they're going to get something. We've got... That's it. That's it. We've only got Space Wolves and Wheaties after this. Is that right? Am I missing anything? Like, are Titan Legions actually getting their own thing? I don't know. I don't know. Arch videos. Know what you mean. I tried that dude and he just doesn't have what Luton or Oculus Imperia or Voldemort's or the Remembrance have going. I don't know what it is, but Arch doesn't do it for me. I don't know what an Arch is, and at this point I'm too scared to ask. Alexander Smith, I think tomorrow is Wheaties. Okay. After Wheaties, Space Wolves. You know what? We've had a few Imperium ones recently. I think you might be right. We haven't had a Chaos one hyper recently. So I would put money on Wheaties as well, and then Space Wolves last. Because, and GW might be fucking geniuses here, Logan on Storm Rider is colloquially called Santa. So if Santa is about to come to town, and that was my favorite thing to do with my Santa Claus in his sleigh, I didn't call it a Wolfie Wah, I just called it ho 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 motherfucker. Is GW like 5-headed? Is that what we're looking at? At the end of the day, there's nothing to gain from arguing with these types of people who already have their opinions set. Let them be. As a relatively new player who hasn't won a single game, I mostly play versus WTC players. No shit. I'm just taking it in stride and trying to learn as much as possible. This detachment definitely looks very complicated to pull off with lack of experience. WTC players, because I live in Malta and our population of Warhammer 40k players is just concentrated in one group, and not because I'm so pro. Well, you know, you are absolutely right that there is a level of unapproachability to it. But the thing that a lot of people are getting in their own head about is they're like, oh, there's so much stuff. Like, this was a bunch of comments. There's so much stuff to measure, and there's so many like things going on. And it's like, okay, well, slow down. What are you keeping track of? Have a crude or Vespid unit within 9 of somebody you want to shoot. That's not too hard, right? We do that for ranges of guns. When you start getting up to high levels of play, you've got to measure where your opponents can go. There's pre-measuring stuff. You've got to measure that you're within a board edge for a secondary. You've got to measure that you're within area denial. You've got to measure, like, you know, engagement range. So it's a natural part of the game that you are constantly pulling out your tape measure. And hopefully not pulling out anything else. And so this one is very straightforward, even just for the AP bonus. Okay, I've got Kroot or I've got Vespid within range of it. And in the video that I put out, I showed just how easy that's going to be because, like, my turn 1, with no advance rolls whatsoever, I was basically up in his business. I was already almost jailing whoever the opponent was. Then, just measure when I'm moving my units, they're wholly within 6 of, and one model is visible to the unit that's protecting them, the Kroot and Vespid, and they can't be shot outside of 18. And I think people will get in their own heads to, like, same thing they did with Retcad, where people were losing games constantly and they thought it was shit because they were breaking their back to try and get the strength bonus and the AP bonus, not realizing exactly what I've been saying before. Tau does not struggle to kill. It is additive bonuses that add to, you know, going blow for blow with other people that you're, you know, perfectly matched against in terms of skill. But you play the same game. You play staging and trading and positioning. You don't break your back to get +1 strength and -1 AP. If it comes up, it comes up. If not, play the correct position in game. And it'll be the same with this. The people that already have their mindset set will try and do everything they can to never be shot outside of 18. They'll lose the game and they'll be like, oh, this detachment shit. But they don't realize that it's all because they misplayed and mispositioned. then like I don't know how anybody could say it when like 1 CP, even without anything else. Give Rampages advance and charge. Give any of your Tau models advance and shoot. +2 strength on almost, pick a data sheet in the book. Pick a data sheet and tell me that their guns that they're equipped with don't start to look kind of ridiculous with +2 strength, -1 AP at all times. Like, the -1 AP is basically going to be all the fucking time. +2 strength is at the moment you need it, and in an actual game of 40k with people with real-life brains inside their noggin, you're not putting 60,000 units out in the open to just, like, old-school musket gunline each other, then your opponent does it while you reload, and then you get to do it if anybody like... No, it's a skirmish game. You are positioning and only giving your opponents certain things at certain times. You're not going to have 1 billion units out shooting. Do you know, and when people talk about CP intensive, like, yeah, it will be. Do you know what I spent my CP on in Cao Yon? Do you know what I spent my CP on in the Cao Yon detachment? Coordinate to engage. Grenades. And then occasionally combat embarkation. But a lot of the time people would play around that combat embarkation. That's what I was spending my CP on. Very rarely did I get to the point where I needed the -1 AP on turn 3. Like I said, turn 2, I was putting down so much damage. Turn 3, yeah, I'd probably get to use... I did an entire tournament where the only person that beat me was the guy that came first and I came 4th. And that was because we had a bunch of undefeateds. I was just outside that bracket because I lost to the dude who came first. Double Tiger Shark list, I didn't use +1 to wound once. Not once. Didn't spend my CP on it. So when you've got so many good things, like everyone's like, oh, it won't function if you don't use this CP. Fucking no. It is going to function perfectly. We have ignore cover built into our army rule. We have +1 ballistic skill. We get -1 AP just for having Kroot nearby. That is enough to kill almost anything in the fucking game with the guns that Tau has. This stuff just becomes additive and opens up little combos that make it just that much more damage and allow potentially, instead of like 2 units to focus down a unit, a single unit just to take them out because they hit that break point that makes the dice go in your favor. And on top of that, sometimes the dice just go against you, and it doesn't matter how well you've written your list. It doesn't matter how well you've positioned. The dice go against you, or your opponent has like a hard red matchup and it was going to be hard anyway. But like, you know, I'm already looking at whether I want an Ethereal, whether I want Shadow Sun, if I'm just going to rely on good old-fashioned CP discipline and, you know, seeing how that goes. I'm going to trial all of them. But can you imagine hating a detachment because all of your stratagems are good? I want you all to think about that for a second. Hating a detachment because not one of your stratagems is bad. And the worst one is auto advance 6. Let me say that again. The worst stratagem is auto advance 6. Can you imagine getting a free detachment, which you have never gotten in any of the previous years that 40k has existed? None of your stratagems are bad. It encourages play between every unit in the book. And previously languishing units like our auxiliaries, which a large amount of the player base likes. And even if you didn't like love them, people were still jamming Vespid into their list as soon as their ability got updated. We were already wanting to run auxiliaries because they offered something unique. They just didn't interact with our other Tau units. And you know, and actually I was talking to Cooper this morning about it, and he raised an excellent point. This is like what the Kroot Hunting Pack detachment should have been. Because Kroot Hunting Pack, you were taking 1,000 points of each. But the Kroot would never benefit the Tau that you were taking. All they were benefiting was the jailing, the OC on objectives, the like mission play, all that sort of stuff. But they would never interact with your Tau units. Now, the complexity is this. Kroot unit within 9 of an enemy unit, no matter where your shooting unit is on the board, no matter what range they're at, as long as their guns are in range, you get -1 AP. And not just the first unit to shoot at it. each time a ranged attack made by a friendly Tau Empire model. Can you imagine hating that? Like, not just being like, you know what? It's not for me. I don't like it. That is a perfectly fine stance. Somebody being like, it's not for me. I'm going to play other stuff. Anybody who says anything like shitty to a person that says that can get fucked. That is a perfectly okay statement to make. It's not for me. The models aren't for me. You know, I'm going to play the other stuff in the book. But like, people going out of their way to be fucking shitheads to people that are like, oh, you know what? This detachment's good. I have never copped so much negativity on that Facebook group. Like, ever. And I'm like, where are you people coming from? Because I don't recognize the names. That's the big thing. All the people that usually interact with me on there, even if they disagree with me, they do so in good faith. And they have an opinion, they talk to me, they're whatever. But like, at the moment, there's a bunch of people that don't want to talk to you, they don't want to engage with you, they don't want to learn or share ideas or anything else. They want to shit on you because they didn't get the detachment that they weren't promised by GW. Anyway, I gotta catch up with some chat. Warshapers are money in those detachments. Yeah, Warshapers looking really good. Tall Poppy Syndrome? It might be. I know I'm shit at this detachment, so I need to make the detachment bad, and therefore you, so that you're on my level. I'm excited for this, especially because I can run some unique units like the fighters and use them and make them scary. Fucking oath, man. Fucking oath. So where was I up to in Twitch chat? Damn, you're all going hard. This detachment will benefit from an ethereal for CP. It's definitely an option. It is definitely an option. I mentioned I used to admin shuffle posting. I literally had to do a giant pin mega thread explaining Krieg uniforms in one of the chats because we kept having people randomly show up in the chat asking guys, how's my Krieg cosplay? And deadass just posting them in. Oh my God. Oh my God. Gonna slam down 18 rampages. I'm unironically cooking up a list that has like at least 12 rampages. I don't know if 18 is too much and if it'll be unplayable, but I am unironically cooking that up. And like I said it in my video, what I love about this detachment the most is that I had like 6 build archetypes pop into my head that we can play. What other detachment did that when it came out and was unironically viable? Unironically fucking viable. Yeah. I feel like this is a constant among all the new detachments. This Grotmas, the stratagems are all good. Yeah, hard. Absolutely. GW are like, even if people don't like it, even if I think the Votan one was a bit of a miss, nobody can look at the stratagems and be like, oh, nuts, I have walked through walls and advance and charge. Oh, my goodness. Fuck you. Or like Necrons getting +1 to wound and -1 to wound for themselves. +1 to hit when somebody's in range of an objective marker. Like yeah, they have been hitting hard. And I wonder if there's people that are actually like hard rebelling against the idea that GW isn't fucking up and they've got nothing to complain about. Like they're getting a bunch of free content. GW's kind of nailing it. And the worst that they could say is, oh, GW's just doing this to sell models. And it's like, yeah, we know. We play the game because we like buying their models. We want rules to go with those models. I want cool rules that make me want to put them on the table. Like, what? What? That's your argument? What? Oh. Speaking of the Tau Facebook goobers being bad at the game, you saw the post of the other guy crying because he got 100 owed by the new Chaos Knight detachment, right? Man, somehow managed to get cross-map charged and shot off the board turn 1 of somehow a balance issue and not I left all my shit in the open turn 0 issue. I just, like, there is a part of me that wishes that I would love to do as content, people actually like recording their games, sending them to me, and I get to roast them for this shit. Like, no, not in like a shitty I'm attacking you sort of way, but just like, actually roasting people that are like, I have no idea what went wrong. And it'd just be like, dude, look at that unit standing out in the open. look at this shit. You were asking for it. You bent over a barrel and said, oh, no, you better not use those whips on me. Oh, come on, I can take Moria. And like, oh, I would either exterminate us, the planet, or just walk away from that because it sounds insane. Runs a pretty big 3D printing grim dark groups. Oh boy. Oh boy. Every now and then somebody goes off the rails, but it's so rare, thankfully. Well, that's good. People have to attack GW for doing anything good. Unironically, I think that's what's going on. GW are just fucking nailing it. And there's a subset of people that are really mad about that. Rails for anyone trying to herd cats and admin 40k groups. Wait, did you catch the Arch Explainer? I don't know what that is. I'm going to assume no. But no, I didn't. Is that something I want to watch? Like, is that something that I'm going to walk out, like, wanting to kill myself and then them? It's, chat explaining who Arch was. Oh. No. So I'm seeing something about... No, okay, so Arch is a... Okay. Arch is an old lore YouTuber. Used to be called Arch Warhammer. But G-Dubs C&D'd him after it came out. He was literally a Nazi. And he's progressively gone wildly more mask off since then. I didn't know the Nazi stuff, but I 100% see it. Thought of him doing Krieg is making me cringe hard as fuck. Yeah, I can't tell you the number of people that, like, jumped on me when I was like, oh, Krieg is like the, you know, the German World War I sort of stuff. And, like, everybody instantly was like, it's fucking French! Which, you know, fair enough. If it's French, it's French. That's fine. I did an entire bit in one of my videos when everybody was mispronouncing Carter because that was French. And I had, like, an American dude who's like, it's Cadre. And it just pieced out from there. Oh. You don't want to watch him, no, but just above the shovel posting Mega Thread guy. Yeah, fair. All right, so I think we've locked down what tomorrow and the day after is going to be, because that brings us all the way up to Christmas Eve, doesn't it? And then our thing ends. Is that correct? So tomorrow, day after Christmas Eve, and then we are on the 25th. Everybody, we're almost at the end of Grotmas. That's, I'm a little sad. I have been enjoying getting new stuff every night. GW, could you please go on just giving us new stuff every single night? Just like all the time, please. Look, Sarah isn't here to defend her honor as a Krieg player, but it's because every time there's a Krieg player, they're either someone nice like Sarah that just enjoys the game and likes the aesthetic, or they're a crazy off-the-rails right-winger, and there is no in-between. They dropped it early? No shit. All right, he's on Twitch. Beal, crush Steven's nuts. Yeah. Wait, hang on. Let me just double check that it's not in, like, a forum post or something early. No, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. Steven, is there something you'd like to say to the chat? Someone got a little silly. Hey? Who's silly man? My bad, I thought you were just finishing it when I saw a detachment open. No, I was doing Tau. All right, he wasn't trying to troll us. Beal, it's okay. Uncrush the nuts. Oh, no! Beal typed him out! I'm sorry, Stephen! Oh my god, that's actually kind of funny. I'm sorry, Stephen, that's actually kind of funny. Okay, you can remove the timeout. Okay, it's good. I thought it was just like bang, you timed out and that's it. Oh, hey Sarah, how you doing? We were just talking about you. Nuts have been crushed irreversibly, sorry. Poor Stephen, he got his messages deleted and everything. Oh my god. As a French person, the Deathcore of Krieg sounds more German than French. I'd rather say they're a mix of the two, like a Western Front matchup. Well, I think that's the thing that, like, you know, this as a hobby, it does lend from a lot of different things. Like, everybody thinks Norse when they think Space Wolves, but there's a lot that actually goes, like, that is the main motif, but there's always other motifs that inform it because, you know, GW aren't just going to rip straight from shit that already exists. Like, they're going to just cherry pick little bits and pieces because they don't want to get sued, right? You know, like Sly Marbo. Sly. Sylvester Stallone. Marbo. Rambo. They wouldn't just steal stuff. Like, I was just popping over to YouTube. The uniform basically one-to-one mix of British and French uniforms. Yeah, that is actually accurate. I can 100% see it. All good things. I hope my troll. No, all good things. We were talking about the Deathcore of Krieg, and I made a joke about how I said that they were like a German aesthetic, and I immediately had everybody like, "It's French!" And yeah, it was just that. And Sam said Sarah's not here to defend herself as a Krieg enjoyer, but they're either nice like Sarah or they're like just hard nut jobs. But yeah, hard nut jobs. That is the dirtiest thing I think. No, sorry, that's the second dirtiest thing I've said today. All right, so we are at 10:45. Black Templars should be coming very, very soon. And then tomorrow it's going to be Wheaties, and then the day after it's going to be Space Wolves. Now, I'm not saying that because I know, but tell me you can't see Santa Claus coming to town on Christmas Eve. Tell me you can't see Santa Claus coming to town on Christmas Eve. Like, right? Rough afternoon. So it was glad it was good. Oh, well, I'm sorry you had a rough afternoon. My Twitches, can we get some rails in chat for Sarah? Please, World Eaters next. I need a win tonight. I unironically think I'm right. Like, I think GW's 5-heading it, and they're giving us Santa on Christmas Eve. Unironically. Only ever good things? Yes, it is. Yes, it actually is. Thank you for the rail, Stephen. My man. Sarah missed out on Stephen's nut crushing my joke about having spares. Oh my God, yeah. Okay, so actually, I don't know if it's less funny that I found it, but Stephen was like, he saw that Black Templars. Sorry, we're going to have to tell you later. Okay. All right, so Wrathful Procession. First and foremost, Henry Cavill, thank you for blessing us with this. I appreciate you. The Black Templars excel at heavy infantry shock assaults. These talents prove especially effective when fighting battles where armored support is limited. Or the terrain is too dense to deploy heavier assets. Whether taking an enemy facility corridor by corridor, storming the breach in a siege, or digging heretics out of thick jungle or ruins, the Black Templars are well suited. Before such engagements, their leaders fire the Battle Brothers' fanaticism with hate-fueled oratory and vox-amplified prayer to heights beyond even the fervor usually displayed by this chapter. As one, the Black Templars begin their advance. Banners to the fore, a holy procession swiftly gathering pace from stride to lope to thunderous headlong charge that caves in the enemy lines like a ceramite-clad fist driven into a heretic's face. The detachment rule is, we're not bigots, I swear. Zealous litanies. At the start of the battle round, you can select one of the litanies listed below. If you do until the end of the battle round, that litany is active and its effects apply to all Adeptus Astartes infantry and mounted units from your army. Chorus of Relentless Hate, add 2 to the move characteristic of models in this unit and add +1 to advance rolls. That is nice. Rite of Perfervid Wrath. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in this unit. And Chant of Deathless Devotion, models in this unit have a 5+ invulnerable save against ranged attacks. Whew! Okay. So notice it doesn't say you can only pick each one once. So I thought this was going to be like the detachment for Sisters and Gladius for Space Marines. But no, this is you just pick whichever one you want for the battle round. And that also means that you start using the Chorus of Relentless Hate when you need a position. 5-up invulnerable save against ranged attacks makes basically like all of your Marines super, super tanky. Like, look at what it did for Kroot. And then think about what Flano was running, which was the Templar Tide. Now, it did get nerfed quite a bit, but you got those big 20 bricks. With this, and then I think they have Feel No Pains built in. That is really good. That is really good. You can pull Black Templars, but not units drawn from any other chapter. We wouldn't expect anything less. Let's have a look at the enhancements. Pyre Brand for 25 points. Black Templars models in the Bearer's unit have stealth ability, -1 to hit on a big unit. Again, another layering buff with -1 to hit and a 5-up invulnerable save. Those 20 bricks will be hard to shift. Sacred Rage, 30 points. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does until the end of the phase, models in the bearer's unit have fight first. I can see why it's 30 points, and that is kind of friggin' nuts. What this means is that you can have your what are the models with the like weird swords that give fight first? Judiciars. You can have Judiciars in a bunch of the units and then have a different unit that doesn't have one with Sacred Rage. And I think you can attach a lieutenant to the unit that like Grimaldus or something goes in, or like the chaplain. So the Feel No Pain is part of their detachment. Okay. But -1 to hit and 5-up against 5-up invuln against all ranged attacks. That's kind of nuts. Yeah, so you could have fights first in a bunch of different places on the board, and that shuts down melee armies super, super hard. Okay, Taramon Sensor, 15 points. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within engagement range of the bearer's unit must take a battle shock test. When doing so, subtract 1. That is enormous, because at the start of the fight phase, most stratagems happen when you're targeted or you select your attacks. If they battle shock with -1, no stratagems for you. That can shut down things like Fight on Death. That can shut down things like rerolls or +1s to wound or hit or whatever. That is really big. Benediction of Fury, 10 points. The bearer's melee weapons have devastating wounds. That's for a chaplain. I'd have to see how good the chaplain stuff is, but it's only 10 points. I think really you've got these two as a base, and then you flex between the other ones or potentially not take them. But devastating wounds is never something for 10 points you say no to. All right, let's look at these stratagems. Starting in the middle right, because we're chaotic as fuck here. Relentless Momentum, fight phase. 1 Adept Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase and is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. Until the end of the phase, when determining which models in your unit are eligible to fight, any models in it that are within 3 inches of 1 or more enemy models are eligible to fight. When resolving those attacks, such models can target one of those enemy units that is within 3 inches of them and within engagement range of their unit. I'm really glad they put this last bit so that you can't just tag a unit that's 3 inches away that you didn't charge and get into engagement range with. But this means you can take those big bricks of Templar Tide and all of them get to fight. That's spicy. That's really, really spicy. And notice it says within and not wholly within. You just have to have the little tippy tip of your base within that 3 and you are good to go. Judiciar is a chaplain. Interesting. Okay. So, I think Flano's going to like this because this is the Templar Tide. This is just straight up. Castigate the Demagogues. Fight phase, 1 Adept Astartes unit from your army not been selected to fight until the end of the phase. Melee weapons equipped by models in your unit have the precision ability. That's really good. Give a unit, pump out a character. And there's a bunch of stuff like this goes into orcs. All of their power in something like Green Tide, or even a little bit in Bully Boys, is in their characters. You get rid of those characters. The units are still like good, but they lose a lot of their power, they lose a lot of their jank, they lose a lot of their abilities. And it's the same, like you get on top of Tau, you kill the commander that's in them, like let's say Cold Star Commander, they lose 2 inches of movement, they lose assault, that's a really big deal. Not only losing all of the output that commander has. Really, really good. Top left, Fueled by Faith. Any phase just after a mortal wound is allocated, give him a 5-up for no pain against mortal wounds. Really nice. Brute Fervor, fight phase. 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Each time, until the end of the phase, each time model in your unit makes an attack, re-roll a hit roll of 1, and you can ignore any or all modifiers to weapon skill, hit roll, and wound roll. That's good. Ignoring minuses to wound. There are a few that are cropping up in the moment, and that is pretty damn good. Armor of Contempt, no more that we need to say about that. And Voice of Devotion, your command phase. 1 Adeptus Astartes infantry or mounted unit from your army. Select the Chorus of Relentless Hate, Rite of Perfervid Wrath, I think it's that. Chant of Deathless Devotion Litany. Until the end of the battle round, that litany is active for your unit instead of any other litany that is active. So you don't get an additional one, but you do get to change the litany. Because, for example, 5-up invul might not be good for the rest of your army. Because you're hiding a lot of it, you're doing whatever, but you've put a unit out in the open and, you know, to get a primary lead, you want them to live until the end of that battle round. You've pre-measured and your opponent can only get line of sight on one unit, and you know that's going to happen. You go, all right, everybody else, you're going to have +2 to move and +1 to advance so that I can get you in those safe positions. My unit that I can't do anything with, I'm going to pay for you to have a 5-up invul. That is, like, there's, and this is something I've been saying about the Tower Detachment, a bunch of the other well-written ones. This has a bunch of options to solve problems. And this has a ton of fight phase power. A ton of fight phase power. This is like, I'll wait for Flano to weigh in, but my initial assessment is that this looks good. This looks really good. Let's gauge chat. As someone who's been obsessed with Decock ever since I first downloaded the Siege of Rax PDF illegally, there's a lot of cool as fuck Krieg enjoys in the 3D printing community that's classy. That's good. That's good. Bilno added the permitted term fucking twat. Bill, I approve of this. Of course, there's Lunatic, someone who runs one of the bigger Krieg groups I know is a straight up fucking twat. And that's why it was added. Shovel posting on one of those other ones. It's on Telegram. Interesting. It's a big public decock group. Oh no, there are submarines thing. No, the film part of the detachment. Fucking tier. Autocorrect doesn't rip me. Done. Blame Neuro, it happened when I approved his message. Wrecked. For the Chaplain Enhance. Doesn't the Judicia have devastating wounds on its weapon already? Am I getting that wrong? Just the tip. I'm assuming I made a penis joke. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume I was talking about penis. So just fact check myself. I thought they were chaplains, but they aren't. Oddly. Okay, cool. I thought they were still good though. Yeah, I'm fairly certain they have devastating wounds. Look, until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to call another hit. GW just rolled out another dub. I'm sure we'll see the Black Templar Discords and Facebook groups and Reddit claim that this is the worst detachment ever created because what they wanted was one where you could literally purge minorities and all of that sort of stuff. You know, this is the most disgustingly weak detachment that ever happened, and it's not their fault. The detachment's just weak. They're not bad players, you know. But we'll have to see how it pans out. You know, all of that is obviously me being a shithead, but he'll love this one. I think he will too. I think that there is like this just screams to me Templar Tide. And he is one of the few people in existence that actually has the models to play it. So, like, and you getting all of your bonuses to infantry and mounted, you might take chaplains on bikes. You might actually take outrider squads now that they've been changed, because that's a big thing. Like for people that aren't keeping track of that, and this is something that I have actually kind of wanted to try in in Space Wolves, and we'll see what they get. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Let's go and see if we've got the article. Yes, we do. What are we getting? What are we getting? Drum roll. Wheaties! We did it! It's Wheaties and then it's Space Wolves! I told you Santa Claus is fucking coming to town on Christmas Eve. Let's go! Sorry, Christmas Eve. No, tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Day after is Christmas Eve. Wheaties tomorrow, Space Wolves on Christmas Eve. I gotta get an early Christmas present. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. So, after that bit of cringe. So what was I looking at? Let's go Space Marines. That's the one. Space Marines. And let's go into the Outriders because they had their ability changed in the most recent Marine buffs. And this is something that, like, learning this stuff is going to be super important for all you tournament players out there. I know that the Facebook groups are just filled with top tier Facebook players, tournament players. But our Rider Squad got changed, and this is something I want to have a look at just to see if it's actually any good. I know Champions of Rust could use it because you can give them AP and Lance. So each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, if this unit made a charge move this turn, improve the strength and damage characteristic of that attack by 1. So you've got their Astartes Chainswords, you've got Champions of Rust. I don't think they give them extra attacks, but you've got 4 attacks at strength 4, AP 2, damage 2. That is unironically good for dealing with other Marines. And then you can throw onto there, you can take an Invader ATV, which I think has the close combat weapon, but they're equipped with heavy bolt pistols, twin bolt rifles. So the twin bolt rifles, I think, are fine. 2 shots, strength 4, AP 1, damage 1. They're twin linked. It's whatever. But you can get some damage off. But it's really that, like, charge move. And if you've got them in something like Stormlance, or you have them in Champions of Rust where you can pay for fallback and charge, you can fall back, do it again, fall back, do it again, whatever. And 3 models is only 80 points. So it's not even especially expensive, but you do have, 12-inch move with advance and charge. So, yeah. Please make Berserkers good in the new World Eaters detachment. Well, Wheaties fans, what are we expecting? What are you expecting from the new detachment? Because at the moment, the Red Angel detachment is... It doesn't favor, I think, any one unit. At the moment, we always see 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound just because they're such a great data sheet, because you've got a narrow index in terms of the number of units. Like, of course, there are going to be standouts. I wonder if they're going to go harder into, like, demon souping, if they're going to go into, 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound and Angry Ron. So they're about already around 30 of them. Fights first and they're crazy. Sustain lethals and feel no pain. Berserkers aren't bad. I won't have it. Demons team up. I find the Berserkers meh. I usually take 8-bound or 30 Termies. So I haven't seen Termies a lot from some of the best Wheaties players around New South Wales. Not to say that they're bad, but yeah, seeing like kind of an Exalted 8-bound kind of mix with, usually like 1, maybe 2 units of Berserkers. Ordinarily, I think a Rhino to transport them, and then just like adding in some of the other stuff that makes it good, Lord Avocado and that sort of shit. Maybe Demon Engines. I actually think I wish for Emperor's Children on the 25th. Okay, well, I hope you get your wish. GW said that they weren't doing anything on there, but leave it to them to go, you know what, we're going to give you our Christmas present, to buy some like good PR, when it turned out they were going to do that anyway. Berserkers don't deserve this land or a bad rep. Berserkers are great, but it's okay. So let's do this. Let's go to Wheaties. And let's have a look at Khorne Berserkers, which are battle lines, so they're great to have. 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound. And then you've got like all of the big stuff after that. Such a narrow index. Look at this stuff. So you got Khorne Berserkers, which you got the Blood Surge. Every time they're shot at and a model was destroyed, you get to make a move up to D6. Obviously better than the Demons one that just got released, because that one is when you end a move within range of them. And the other part of the Blood Surge for Space Wolves, where it's just when you're shot at, but it's only once per battle, and you got to take a character to be able to do it. They have an Icon of Khorne each time blessing a Khorne roll. If It's in range of an objective marker. You can re-roll one of the dice, and you can do that for each icon of Khorne. Then you've got Berserker Champion and 4 to 9 Khorne Berserkers. Berserker Chainblade on every single model. The Champion's Bolt Pistol can be replaced with Plasma. For every 5 models, you can take a Plasma Pistol on 1. For every 5 models, a Berserker's Chainblade can become a Khornate Eviscerator, and 1 model can have the icon of Khorne. So when we look at that, let's look at like if you're running them in 10. Then you've got Berserker Chainblades, 4 attacks, strength 5, AP 1, damage 1. So they're 1 strength better than Astartes Chainswords, which kind of makes sense. They're Berserkers. And so you've got a unit which is doing, if you've got 9, because the big guy is also equipped with it, so you've got 9 by 4, which is, 36 attacks. And then you've got 3 attacks with the Khornate Eviscerator with strength 8, AP 2, damage 2. Normal Marine, T4, 3 up save, 2 wounds, and you're paying 180 points for that. Now, 180 points is a little more on the expensive side, but you can also pair them with Khan the Betrayer, Lord Avocado, Wheaty's Lord on Juggernaut, or Wheaty's Master of Execution. I think Khan and the Master of Executions are the most common one, because the Master of Execution gives them fight first, I believe. Then we look at the 8-bound. So 3 or 6 model units. I think the more common one is the 3, and then the Exalted 8-bounds, they've taken 6. But I'd have to check some lists. While a friendly world is units within 6 of this unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. If that attack targets units below half, you can fully reroll the wound roll instead. They're each equipped with 8-bound Eviscerators. The champion can have a heavy chain glaive. So 8-bound champion has got lacerators, and that can go to a heavy chain glaive. So I think the lacerators just look better. 8 attacks, strength 7, AP 3, damage 1, or 4 attacks at strength 9, AP 2, damage 3. I think I want the lacerators. And then the 8-bound eviscerators, 6 attacks each. So you've got, if we got a 3 unit, you got 12 attacks at strength 5, AP 2, damage 2. And we're not even going into any of the bonuses that they get from stratagems or whatever else. And then you've got 4 attacks at strength 9, AP 2, damage 3. That is pretty good with a Scout 6 move, which is a big one. Did the Zerks have Scout? They don't. So the 8-bound are able to Scout, which gives you extra maneuverability on top of a 9-inch move. I really thought 8-bound would have an 8-inch move. Am I off base on that? It's, yeah. Khan gives rerolls 1 to hit and wound. Compile plus wound strat against character, vehicle, or monster. Yep. The guys get some CSM units. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. Christmas Eve is 3 days away. 3 days away? Nah, dog. Because this is tonight. Tomorrow is the 23rd. Day after. So this is Wheaties. This is Space Wolves. And then it's Christmas. Tomorrow, Wheaties. 24th, Space Wolves. Day before Christmas. 25th, Christmas. Christmas, for Australians, is 3 sleeps away. 3 sleeps and 2 days. How fucking excited is that? So excited for 8-bound to get double movement through walls and a 6-inch consolidate. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they go for an 8-bound based attachment. If they do get a 6-inch pile and consolidate, double movement through walls. Nah, I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do like a fucking warp gate through buildings. But I think they might actually do like a 6-inch, like these units get deep strike. So Exalted 8-bound already have it, so I guess that steps on their feet. But Deep Strike, Feel No Pain, they don't have a Scout move. So your 8-bounder for speed, and then you've got Exalted 8-bound moving 9 inches. I'd be amazed if they didn't have Advance and Charge. Oh, no, that steps on the Army rule, doesn't it? So Army rules, let's have a look at that. That's the Blessing of Khorne roll, right? And then they've got add 2 to move, Feel No Pain 6+, if they already had 1, add 1. Sustained 1, fight on death, lethal hits, advance and charge. So they won't be getting advance and charge. That just won't be a thing. So yeah, but then we look at what these guys have got, and this is 155 and 310. And this is where you see lists filling up quite quickly because Exalted 8-bound are a great data sheet. So, and they've also got each time an enemy unit within 6 inches of this unit is selected to fall back. That unit take a leadership test. If that test has failed, they have to remain stationary that phase instead. That can be devastating. Absolutely devastating. So, each one has an 8-bound Eviscerator and 8-bound Chain Fist. The Champion's Eviscerator and 8-bound Chain Fist can be replaced with one of the following: a paired 8-bound Chain Fist or a heavy Chain Glaive. So, the 8-bound Eviscerator to start is 5 attacks each model. If you've got a 6-model unit, 5 of them are going to have that because you're going to do stuff with the leader. So, that's 25 attacks at Strength 6, AP2, Damage 2, hitting on 2s, which is really nice. Then they've also got the 8-bound Chain Fist, which is 3 attacks, Strength 14, AP3, Damage 2, which is your like killer vehicle profile, because you're still going to have like 15 attacks at that profile, which is really, really nice. Paired 8-bound, looks like you just get Twin Linked, which is Strength 14, Heavy Chain Glaive, 8 attacks at Strength 8, AP3, Damage 1. I think you just keep him at the Chain Fist Eviscerator, right? Because you got the Eviscerator for like more of a sweep profile, and then you've got the Chain Fist for the vehicle profile. Like, yeah. Anyway, so I wonder if they're going to get something, because these guys have the demon keyword, and not everything does. I wonder if they're going to do something which benefits demons, so that it's Exalted 8-bound and it's souped in demons. That would be really, really interesting. Either that or just like full on Zerg-tide. Just Zerg-tide all goddamn day. Yeah. No, I can 100% see how everybody is so easily like fitting or making the points sync to fit these guys into your list. Because like even, you take 2 6s and a 3 and you've got, what's that, 620 and then 775, I think it is. God, why is my brain working? Anyway, so yeah. What does their index do? The Berserker Warband. Army Rule, Berserker Warband. It is when you select a fight, if you made a charge move until the end of the phase, add 1 to strength and attacks of melee weapons. +1 strength and attacks. Like, you look at everything that we just looked in that. Berserker Chainblades go to 5 attacks each and strength 6. 8-bound, with their 8-bound Eviscerators, go to 7 attacks, strength 6. Exalted 8-bound go to 6 attacks and strength 7, or 4 attacks and strength 15. With strength 15, I don't think is really a breakpoint for a lot of things, but like still though, +1 attack is just great. So if you're going to have a detachment come out, World is one of the best detachments. I would agree. Like, it's only like Blood Angels when they get +2 to strength. No, +2 to attacks and +1 to strength, I think it is. They just kind of beat you out, but they don't have units like this where +2 attacks would be maybe broken, like maybe hard broken. But so, and this is something that I was talking about with Votann, where if you're going to lose a big detachment rule, and like, this one isn't complex. There's not a lot to it. It's just make a charge, get a bonus, but it is intuitive and powerful. So if you're going to replace that with something, it'll need to be good. It'll need to be good. Otherwise, World Eaters will just stay on the other detachment until they get their book. Same thing the Votann players are going to do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Votann will probably try the new detachment. And actually, I want to go back and reread it and re-feel the disappointment. I'll see if there's anything that like leaps out at my brain, just so that I didn't have a similar response to what everybody else did with the Tau one, where they just went, nah, this is shit, and then threw it away. So Leagues of Votann makes an attack with a weapon excluding blast. That gets me. That fucking gets me. The target's closest eligible target or a target within engagement range of that model's unit. Reroll a hit roll of 1. So this benefits every unit in the index. Broad reroll hit roll of 1 isn't terrible. Then it's your Carl, Einhir Hearthguard or Uther the Destined unit. Improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. Now, this one, if Carl joins warriors, it says if your unit is a Carl, but it says unit, not model. So him joining a unit of warriors, does that give the unit these bonuses, the extra AP? I would argue it does. And then if you have an Iron Here champion join the Iron Here Hearthguard, does he not get the bonus and be the first leader in history that doesn't get the bonus? Like, surely not. So you could go like, your vehicles aren't going to get anything from it, but that's fine. And then you just kind of go a Terminator Warrior heavy build. Bastion Shield each time a ranged attack targets a bearer's unit if they're within 12, worse than the AP by 1. For 25 points, that's not terrible. You put that onto an Iron Here champion. And then you have a Hearthguard unit, which is -1 AP, while they're within 12. So you either make your opponent stay outside of 12 or you put them in a position where they have to come within 12 to be able to shoot at you. Quake Multi-Generator. This is fine, I guess, but in the same way that the Strike's having this, it doesn't do it for me. It's so situational, and a lot of the time, the thing you would want a -1 to hit is like sitting behind a wall or something, so you don't even get to do this. And it's in your shooting phase, so it's not like you can overwatch them. The +2 wounds on a solo Iron Here champion, I actually think sounds baller. You make him just like a high wound little missile that goes and hits people and does mortals on the charge. Hi, Carl. Fight on death for your Hearthguard. 30 points is expensive. I can see where they're going. Maybe you want to take this, but yeah. Hey, Ty, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. So, then we've got the stratagems. Your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase, just after they've selected its targets, give them a 4-up invuln. This is good. This is inarguably good. And then so Carl Uther the Destiner Iron Here Hearthguard, again, like, unit from your army. So if they join as a leader, that warrior unit should have a 4-up invuln save, which is good. And if that's not the case, then this detachment gets even worse than we initially thought it was. Unyielding aggression movement phase just after a League of Votann infantry unit from your army falls back. They've got shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. This is, again, good stratagem. Nobody can complain about fall back, shoot, and charge. 6-inch pile and consolidate is good. Very good, assuming you can get people in. Materialization matrices, reinforcement step of your movement phase, 6-inch deep strike. That with a Hearthguard unit is like disgusting. Not being able to charge is whatever, but yeah, 6-inch fight phase, Leagues of Votann unit from your army not being selected, fight this phase. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle unit, add 1 to the damage characteristic. It being 2 CP and not being able to 2 CP and no way within Votann to farm CP does feel a little bit bad when all of these other stratagems are really good. So I think this one is just intended to be like a situational, you're sending a unit in, you've got a snowball's chance in hell of actually doing what you wanted to do, but +1 to damage, you're going to make that play go off. And then Fury of the Hearth, shooting phase, give them rapid fire 1. I want to play with it because it's something new. I do. I really, really do. And I love my Hearthguard. I really love my Hearthguard. So I wonder if there is a way to make this work and just go, you know what, fuck your judgment tokens. Because at the end of the day, when you think about judgment tokens, they're mostly there. Like when units die, you get 1, it's a +1 to hit. That'll just put Hearthguard on 2s, like basically all the time. +1 to wound is nice, but I guess you could go for like, if you're going a warrior heavy build and you go for the Sagis, you could split them in half, have a 5-man unit, run it up, sacrifice it, get a judgment token on something. And maybe you have to be more aggressive with your Carl positioning, and this will like really favor players that know what the fuck they're doing and have a Carl over the wall, and they've pre-measured, they know your opponent can't get in range to shoot them. Or if they do, you've got a Hearthguard unit with like, give them a 4-up invuln, what was the other one? Worse than AP if they can get within 12. Like, and they are a 2-up armor save unit. that will be behind a wall and will be getting the benefits of cover. So if you've got -1 AP and you've got cover, you're functionally +2 to your opponent's AP. Give Votann global lethals on 4s again, you cowards. That is not a dark time we want to go back to. I feel like Votann have been paying for that for like all of this edition. And I really want GW to move on from that. I want them to not be scared to give them cool stuff. Because at the moment, like, look at how much the landscape has changed in terms of like content creators and feedback avenues and everything else from when they tried to release that Votann book. Like Art of War was kind of just starting out on like their if I'm remembering correctly the time frame, like they had their, you know, lower grade cameras and they were still setting up their streaming room and everything else. Come a long way since then. 40K has gotten onto a lot of different people's radars, not just within the 40K sphere, but a lot of other things. And you've got like Henry Cavill at the front of it, which has brought a lot of mainstream attention. I think that they can get over that they fucked up so badly with the Votann Codex in 9th and actually make it so the Votann gets some cool shit. And I wouldn't mind trying this to see what we can get out of it. And actually, you know what? Just for schnitz and giggle, let's actually build a Votann list. I'll have to jump off and help Chelly in the house soon, but let's see what I might do with it. Add Force, Xenos. Leagues Votann. Okay. So, battle size, 2,000 points. No other detachments yet. So, naturally, I want to go Iron Here Champions, and I want to go Corals. Uthar the Destined just seems bad for 80 points. I guess he's only 10 points more, but once per turn change, 1 hit roll or wound roll, made for this model to an unmodified 6. Once per battle round in your command phase, you can select 1 model from your army with this ability, gain a judgment token, 4-up invuln natively. While the bearer is leading a unit, models in that unit have a 5-up invuln save. So you can do this with a warrior unit or with a Hearthguard unit and just naturally give them a 5-up invuln, then you don't have to spend the CP on them. Each time an attack is allocated to this model, changes the damage characteristic to 1. That means he's not easy to just like pump out with precision. But then for all that, what does the Carl get? Aside from being able to take enhancements. Oh, he doesn't give his unit lethal hits. And then if you take a Rampart Crest, they've got an invulnerable save anyway. So no, it's gonna be Carl all day. Now we probably want 1 to have teleport, and then we want to have something that start on the board. Mass Gauntlet for sure, Vulcanite Disintegrator for sure. Let's duplicate those. And then we've got these guys. The Iron Here Champion. Actually, they probably want to be the Teleport Crest, right? So you go Rampart, Iron Here Champion. You've got reroll charge rolls. So this will be your Deep Strike unit. 100% this will be your Deep Striker. And you do mortals on the charge. Or we just do these as like on your own little missiles. And you don't worry about the rerolls. So we go the Mass Hammer, because I don't think the Dark Star Axe is pretty good, even though it's a fucking cool name. 6 attacks, strength 6, AP2, damage 2. Mass Hammer, 3 attacks, strength 12, AP2, D6 plus 1 damage. I think the Mass Hammer is still the way to go. Yeah, I think the Mass Hammer is still the way to go. So we go Teleport Crest on him. And we go like triple Carl. We go Unit of Warriors. We go Hearthguard. Do we want to go the 30 is the question. Now, oh yeah, because you can put the Rampart Crest on the Carl, and then you put a Teleport Crest on the Hesir. Because this one is the bearer has a 4-up invul. We don't need that with the stratagem, so we go that. He gets a Concussion Hammer, I think is the way we go. Vulcanite Disintegrator, Hearthguard, Vulcanite Disintegrator, and Concussion Gauntlet. Selection from Warlord will just make it this guy so that the thing goes away. And then we go 10 of them. Duplicate. So that's 30 Hearthguard. With 3 car rules. Then we got the Warriors. Thane can have... I don't mind the Ion Blasters, honestly. Why does that not have a profile? Okay. Ion pistol. Wait, they must have one more selection or attack pattern bolter. That's because my unit doesn't have ion blasters ticked. There we go. And we're going to go that. We're going to go heavy weapon, because I believe we can have 2. And then we go the Hylas auto rifle and the Hylas rotary cannon, which is what I've seen most people going. The L7 missile launcher isn't terrible. But I think when it lost its AP off the blast profile, I think it got significantly worse. So, whereas you just put like tons of output on this. Hylas rotary cannon, 6 attacks. It is on 5s, but it's strength 6, AP 1, damage 1. It's heavy and sustained hits 1. And then the Hylas auto rifle is just assault rapid fire 3 at the same profile. It's just really good shooting. Really good shooting. Then we're definitely going to want Sagittor. And we go the beam cannon. So we've got the casino cannon with reroll 1s to hit. We go, whoa, not you, not you. If we go 3 Saggies and we go double Hearthkin Warrior, then we go... So that is enough to put in each of the Sagittors. Either that or we don't go Hearthkin Warrior. We go 2 of those. We go a single unit of the Zerks. And they're going to have concussion mauls. Or is it heavy plasma axe? Let me just check. Plasma axe has the sweep and the strike. Concussion mauls are 3 attack, strength 9, AP2, damage 3. I like that. I like that a lot. The sweep is very nice. That can go into a lot of different targets. But 3 attacks is strength 9 and an extra pip of damage to just not have the sweep profile. I think I'm fine with that. Need a 10-man with ion pistols and Uther is a great roadblock. The 1 damage max is pretty sweet. It's not terrible. Which is good if you want the Vulcanite to have more proc chance for devastating. Darkstar should be devastating anti something 2+. I would agree. I think the Darkstar needs some love. Just let the pregnant lady do all the housework. What's wrong with that? So talking to Jake about this is actually pretty funny in the Terminators. You don't take Rampart though. You take Teleport for the Terminators if you're taking Carl or Uther. No, well, you don't have to. So the Carl can have the Rampart crest. Everybody gets a 5-up invuln. And then the Hessier takes the Teleport crest. And then his unit has models in the Bearer's unit have Deep Strike. You get to have your cake and eat it too. You get best of both worlds. So I do that. I've got triple Saggi. I've got a unit of Zerks. I've got triple Hearthguard. And then I think we just need bikes. There's no world where this functions without bikes. So we've got Panspectral Scanner and Searchlight. We got a Rotary Cannon, and that's it. Yep, that's our 90-point unit. And then we go again. And then that basically leaves us at a point where we don't have enough for a 3rd bike unit, which maybe 2 bikes is enough. It's not a lot of stuff. Maybe it's 2 Hearthguard units. We put one of the Carls with the Warrior unit that's got the auto rifle and the rotary cannon. Give them lethal hits, and we drop this in favor of more units. Because then we can go a 3rd bike unit. And maybe go some, we need a Jaeger unit. There's no world where we leave home without a Jaeger unit. No fucking shot. We want an APM launcher. I don't know how many I can take. Oh. So, what does it have there? Staff, ruthless efficiency. No. Okay, so that's just saying 1 too many selections of Hernken Jaeger. So that's fine. If I go 2nd, 1 too many, maximum 8. Oh, they are allowed to have 2 special weapons. Cool. Okay, so we have a Jaeger unit, and then we've got a bit of points left over. I think that'll be the new lower cost Thunderkin. So we're not going to go bolt cannons. We're going to go graviton blast cannons, because then that is a good amount of anti-vehicle. And then we've got room for our enhancements. Now, do I want the solo Iron Here champion? What could I plug in if I pull him out? If I get rid of him and I go a third, that's 10 points over. So we need less than 85 points. Is there anything that even hits that? Yeah, a Grimnir or an Iron Here champion. What to do? Does the Grimnir offer us anything? While this model's leading a unit, improved toughness characteristic once per battle. It can clear battle shock. 4 up, you can put him with the Hearthkin Warriors. So +1 toughness warriors for T6. I think that puts him at. Yeah, T6 Hearthkin Warriors is fine. I like the Grimnir when they get out of a land fortress, hit them with the friggin' Ancestral Wrath, where it's 6 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 6 with 4 rerolls to hit, AP2 D3 damage, which is hazardous and psychic. That's kind of fucking funny. I think maybe we just hit it with the... actually, what does an Iron Master give us? Because I think we can put him with a leader unit. He can lead the Warriors or the Thunderkin. The end of your movement phase, repair a League of Votan vehicle or exoframe model. Regain up to D3 lost wounds or up to 3 lost wounds instead if this unit contains an Ironkin assistant. While it's leading a unit, +1 to hit. So that might actually work for the Thunderkin in this detachment because we won't have many Judgment tokens. Maybe he's worth it? Nah, you know what? Let's go the missile. Let's go the little missile. Iron Here champion, mass hammer. He's going to have a weave-filled crest and 2 extra wounds. So he can just run up the board. Or do we want to teleport crest him so that we can rapid ingress him? I think maybe that is actually better. Being able to rapid ingress into a tiny little area and then go and slam someone in the fucking face. He's going to be 7 wounds. Yeah, we're going to go teleport crest. We're going to go that. I think that this is our list, and he's got the extra wounds for 10 points, and that's it. Let's save that. What are we going to call it? Guard the Hearth. Yeah, so that is my first pass at a list for the Votan. Might actually yellow scribe that up, and after I'm done with my tower testing, maybe play a bit of that. But there's so much that I want to play from the new detachments and stuff. There's so much. Uthar with Termes actually might be super solid in this detachment, but giving up lethal hits is just... No, it's not lethal. There's sustained. So, yeah. Uthar gives you a guaranteed 2 dev wounds every time he fights. That's all right, I guess. But yeah. Just realized I'm again 5 minutes behind commenting a starter list building. Ha ha ha. Grimnir is another we roadblock the Corvs or a Blade of Wounds, and if you give it the Iron Skin, it's even better. Actually, yeah, because its models... no, it's this model has +1 wounds. So, sorry, +2 wounds. So I don't think his little Corvs would get it. I don't think. I'd have to review that. But yeah, that's our Grotmas for tonight. I'm going to go and spend a little bit of time with Chelly before she's got to go to bed for work. But yeah. Invuln? Not sure what you mean by that. There's no enhancement that gives them an invuln, but you can pay a CP for the invuln if that's what you mean. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. And everybody, we will see you in our next stream tomorrow night for Wheaties, and then after that, my beloved Space Wolves, because ho, 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 Santa Claus is coming to town, motherfucker. Put your windows down and light a fire in your chimney, because otherwise he gonna get you. See you tomorrow night.